Hey guys, I'm back. Sorry I was gone so long. There's a reason for that. I might be able to explain it during this video, but you know what? We got a lot to talk about today, so I'm just going to introduce this. I am making my own October drawing challenge that you may have heard about a lot of these with some friends. It's called Worldtober, and you can see it up here on the screen right now. I've been working at this since October began, and I know that like nearly halfway through the month is a little late to the party to announce that you're going to be doing something like that on YouTube. However, I didn't really have a lot of time to prepare beforehand, and things have been a little busy for me. So I'm playing catch up here, but I'm not in any race with anybody at the moment. So we're gonna enjoy what Worldtober is. Now, Worldtober, ideally, is going to be a creative exploration into creating a fantasy world of some kind over the course of the month. Some friends and I are doing this collaboratively, and yeah, a couple of them have really been sticking to it. One of them's another artist like myself, and they've been doing illustrations and concept sketches, while another friend is a writer and has been kind of like outlining and bullet pointing some ideas of what they would like to bring into this world. It's been a lot of fun so far, and it's been really helping me get back on my feet after a month or two almost of not really having time to get my creative outlet as much as I normally would like to. Um, so if you would like to join in the October challenge, or if you haven't done one yet, I know you probably have chosen a prompt list by now. If you'd like to join in creating the world of the Blood Forest, as we've been calling it, you're more than welcome to. This here was my first go at the day one prompt, which was to create your own character for this world. And I decided to kind of go with a traditional, like, man at arms, martial styled, like, fighter character. Her name is Cinnabar, and what I really wanted was someone who's kind of like a sellsword or a drifter, somebody who doesn't really represent any major like political faction at play within the world of the Blood Forest, within the main setting. I feel like she should be a bit of an outsider who kind of stands on her own grounds and kind of just travels through this world. She's not a stranger in a strange land. She's familiar with the workings of this world. She just approaches it however she would like. Uh, that was a really lot of fun to design her. And I'll admit, a lot of the ideas of the Blood Forest, I'm kind of reviving from a scrapped idea I was working on a while ago for a short film that I was going to animate. And I might actually still do it one day, but at least during this month, when I have like a chance to really challenge myself, I'm taking the opportunity to take these characters in this world and really flesh them out and get some ideas and just kind of like exercise. So I'm kind of reviving Cinnabar from an older design, and I have to give credit where it's due. I didn't name her. I've been drawing her for quite some time, yet I never really gave her a proper name. It was my friend Nitty who looked at her and kind of just gave her the name Cinnabar when I was nearly done. And I kind of like it. It's a very kind of I'm up and down on naming characters after spices, but it works sometimes. It's a fun little trick when it works. Second day was the challenge to make a fantasy race, and a friend of mine who's drawing these alongside me asked me, could I use existing fantasy races? Like, can we use pre-existing things? And I was like, yeah, sure, you can do whatever if it's in like the open rules for like an RPG, like D&D, like the SRD that you could make. You can throw it in. I'm not focusing on it, but yeah, anything familiar that you know isn't gonna get you copyright, go ahead. And they actually made a werewolf character, which was really cool the way they came out. Maybe I'll be able to show it one day, but I'll ask if I can give their social media contact at least so you guys can look up their work. Uh, but I wanted to make these undead Venus flytrap people who, for one reason or another, actually are already extinct in this world. Something happened, and they kind of all suffered the curse of the undead, and basically all kind of died and came back to life at the same time, just as a race. So they're walking extinct people who, before they went undead, were probably very like isolationist, very like self-sufficient. If you ran into one, there probably weren't very many more around. They would be kind of like solitude, but now that they're undead, they're kind of flocking together, kind of like being like, hey, we're sticking together, and we may be like dying out with limited time, but we're gonna take our revenge we're gonna make it everyone else's problem. Because we were already, you know, Venus flytrap people. That's pretty carnivorous and dangerous, but now that now that they're on their way out, they aren't happy about that, and they're gonna use what time they have left to find whose fault it is and exact their revenge. You can almost kind of sympathize with them, even though they're kind of a very dangerous threat who may not actually like care that you sympathize with them. They just want to lash out or even eat you if they're hungry still. Um, this was a lot of fun to draw. I've been learning a few new drawing techniques in terms of anatomy, and I wanted to employ them here. You may have also noticed that over the last couple of drawings, my style has kind of become a lot chunkier. That's actually how I've been drawing naturally over the last couple of years for my own work, but whenever I draw digitally, I always feel a need to kind of like do a more accurate proportion. But there's just something fun about these designs with like bigger forearms and bigger like shin, like everything from the elbow down and the knee down, I kind of expanded and made bigger with a more like chunky body and a bigger head. That's just kind of like my cartoonish style that I like to employ. And for this challenge, I kind of wanted to just learn to relax and cut loose. So, okay, what's on screen right now might be a little weird, but long story short, I am going through a lot of tech issues again, now with my new computer. Um, it was being difficult, and also there's a good chance my drawing Cintiq may have finally died after almost 11 years of usage. So my lovely girlfriend Layla allowed me to borrow her Huion tablet. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. And after a bit of like frustration with technology not working in my favor, and some other actual like frustrations about my own art uh, journey lately, and talking with my girlfriend Layla about how I feel about my own art and like what I want to do, she was like, you always are trying to be something else. Why don't you try just being yourself when you draw? I'm like, I'm not trying to be someone else. And he's like, no, I totally am. So I'm just gonna like draw how I want to draw and explore stuff and even undo some assumptions about my own artwork. So, like literally the next day, my Cintiq died after that talk, which I'm trying to take a positive spin on and use it as an opportunity to draw differently, because I still need to draw digitally, especially for these videos. Um, So what I decided was I'm going to use this Huion tablet, which doesn't allow nearly as much control as my Cintiq does. I'm also going to restart my prompt list and draw everything on one layer through the lens of what if I was making myself a trading card game like Pokemon or Flesh and Blood or Yu-Gi-Oh or something like that. And just really makes, or like Hearthstone or Runeterra. Um, like, what would that look like? And could I make little illustrations that could go onto a potential trading card for a game that doesn't exist, but if you were actually opening up a pack of them, would you be excited to pull this card? That was something that was always like that drove me as a kid, was like opening Pokemon cards and not just seeing like, oh, I got the Pokemon I wanted, but like, look how it was drawn, look what the story is happening in this card, and they only got better at that over the years. So I wanted to redraw Cinnabar, and honestly, she might be like the most tame illustration remake from like the standing pose that I did earlier. It's just a different angle. She's got more of a confident stance, and it does look like she's either just explained something to someone and is proud of it, or is kind of listening to someone like tell her about a problem, and she kind of is getting an idea of how she's going to fix it. I gave her war pick, which I kind of like the idea that she uses a war pick and not like a sword or a hammer or anything more familiar. It's a weird weapon in a weird world that feels like a traditional fantasy, but isn't quite. Like, there's always a little bit of a twist to it. Going back to another redo. Oh my god, I got into this prompt list. I didn't get past number 2 before I started my redos. And it's already like October 11th. I'm in no rush here. So anyone who is a bit more competitive, I feel you. I'm trying to learn to relax. I wanted to bring in an illustration of the Venus flytrap undead people, which I need to get a name for them. And I wanted her to feel more menacing. I wanted her to feel like if this was a card you were pulling, you were just catching in the middle of the action. I wanted to be very dynamic, very fast, like, oh, she's coming at you. You're in danger. The last one I did was the flat standing drawing that I did of her was very, hey, look at this cool monster lady. Which is fine. I mean, that was fun. But I wanted to have more fun with the design itself. Like, what does this look like when it's coming at you? And, maybe they jump from the bushes. And they're not all just feminine. I couldn't be asked to draw a male counterpart in the original design. And then for the dynamic action pose, I just wanted to use the one that I had made already. I also changed the amount of fingers that I used. Originally, in the first drawing, she has 4 whole fingers. In this one, she has 2 main fingers and the thumb. I just have a weird design note that I like to do where, like playable races, like humans, elves, dwarves, things like that, they have the full 5 fingers, 4 fingers and a thumb. And then like monstrous races have 2 fingers and a thumb. And I don't know how long I'm going to live with that philosophy as a creator. I've been doing it for about a year or 2 now, and I'm enjoying it, but I'm not married to it, But I definitely wanted to bring across that they are plants who are also undead, and they are very dangerous and about consuming. So I put a hand in, I put a mouth in her hand just to really up the horror factor of these guys a little bit more. And you can also see some like bone sticking out at certain places. I think at some point I chop off one of her fingers or like make one of the Venus flytrap fangs break. I also show off her the elbow bone at one point, just to like really be like, hey, look, she's decaying. She's coming apart. She's not just like a hot plant lady. Like, oh, she's rotting away, kind of deal. Which, now that I'm thinking about it, a mouth in the hand and then like an elbow bone. Don't think about it too much. Don't think about what happens when a chunk of meat is swallowed by the hand. Don't think about it, please. It's fantasy, guys. It's fantasy. Okay, just roll with it, please. I had a day to make this. And then thirdly, I did another, well, I mean, of course I'm going to keep saying I did another. It's a prompt list for a whole month. The third day's prompt was adventuring gear. And something I really wanted to do was I wanted to introduce another character. Like I said, I was going to do a short film in this world at one point a while ago and just never got to. And I needed a reason to introduce another character. So for adventuring gear, I actually went with a piece of adventuring gear that I think is severely underrated in a lot of RPG media, which is a journal. A lot of adventurers in real life, the most valuable thing that they would bring home would be like their journal more often than not, like their findings, like the dudes who were adventuring in Antarctica and stuff like that. Like them journaling was like one of the most avid things that they did. And so, I'm sure historically a lot of people make arguments like, no, there were other more valuable. Listen, just roll with me here, okay? Like, journals are important, especially in adventuring, and that's what I wanted to kind of highlight and bring to the table, especially with this character who I haven't really fully settled on a name. Again, my friend Nitty, who's been hanging out with me along with some other friends in like a Discord chat, I was like, yo, you named Cinnabar, what do I name this character? She suggested Mercury. I don't dislike it, but I think I'm open to other names too, possibly. But I wanted this little scholarly acolyte character who may be part of a church of some kind that worships some kind of deity that proclaims to bring light to this blood forest. How honest or accurate that may be is yet to be seen, but this character at least is well-meaning and well-intentioned. This would be like the healer of the team, although let's not assume that they can heal giant gashing wounds with a big spell. It might be much lower scale, like, oh, if you broke your leg, I can maybe cast something every day, help you speed along the healing process. Instead of maybe like 2 months to heal up, maybe I can make it like 1 month to heal up, things like that. So this world's magic system is a lot lower in scale than we're used to, and this character's got to use their like education and their brain and their practices alongside magic to really bring it home. A lot of magic in this world costs more than it actually does, even if it's like from a divine source like a deity. But this character is exploring the area of this world, trying to learn about it, trying to find out about the problems, and really kind of collect a journal to make an encyclopedia maybe or something, or even help solve a lot of issues in this blood forest world. Came into this town and started being like, wait, hold on, what's going on? Let me write that down. So this character is here to do that, and I like to think that they have a friendly relationship with Cinnabar, and actually hired her to bring her to this settlement that the story will be taking place in, to this area of the blood forest. And they want her to protect them, but also be their guide, things like that. So they really rely on Cinnabar in a lot of ways while they try to focus on their more scholarly endeavors. That doesn't mean they're 100% safe. This world is very dangerous. That's something I want to start exploring as we get further into the story of this prompt list. But, I've only gotten 3 illustrations so far out of the 11 days I should be on. And that's just because I was gone for a while because I was caught up in some things, and it took me a little longer to catch up on some other elements of my life afterwards, and so the art had to wait for a minute. And again, the tech stuff and the personal challenge, I've been doing all of these illustrations on one layer, trying to stop myself from zooming in too much, or even using the undo button too much, which you see me abuse a lot anyways, because old habits die very hard, and that's what I'm trying to use this prompt list to do, is to kill my old habits as an artist, which is a lot of zooming in, a lot of undoing, a lot of trying too hard to control minute details that really, so much of the control was making a lot of my art feel more stiff. So I want my art to have more life to it, and I feel like these 3 illustrations have really been helping me a lot. Um, yeah, let me know what you think about the Blood Forest. I hope you guys enjoy it a lot. And if you'd like to partake, please, absolutely, let me know in the comments, and we'll see more about it next week. I hope you enjoy this. Maybe we'll have a name for this little character here. They seem like a very nice person. And, you know, if you like the video, give me a like, leave a comment on what you think about the world of the Blood Forest, what excites you, what would you like to see, and if you can, if I earned it, give it a share maybe. Share the video around, tell some people about, like, Joseppi and his weird ways. But I know I was a little rambly. This is a bigger video for me. I tried getting it all in one shot. I'll see you guys soon. Take it easy. Thank you so much. Bye.